Hey, yeah, it's me. It's Uncle Ricky. I know I look like shit right now if you're watching the video. I might even sound like shit if you're listening to the audio, but for real, yeah, I feel like shit. But anyway, it's okay. It's just, seasonal things, some allergies, some sinus, and just being older. Not saying that, being old is something to be unhappy about. I'm actually glad I made it this far. But let's move right along and get into some shit that everybody is concerned about. And it looks like that maybe, that person that is a guide to a small portion of this country, the one and only former 45th president of the United States, the enigma that we call Donald Trump, Donald John Trump. Looks like he may be like, finally being federally indicted, criminally for at least one of his crimes. And it's hard to, when you have a former president that's probably committed more felonies than Gotti, it's kind of hard to imagine because in most countries, not just the United States, you're unless you're raised in something that's been an unreal terroristic regime from day one, say like in North Korea. You might know that Kim Jong-il is a maniacal, homicidal maniac that only gives a shit about his next meal. But you're not going to say that out loud. But that's not how we were raised in the United States. We were raised, saying, we're democracy and that, this is what the majority of the people want. And, there's a Bill of Rights that applies to everybody equally, no matter who you are, what you are. And as a, mid 20th century, what color you are, what religion you are, what sex you are. Blase, blase, blase. And we all know that to a certain extent that's probably still a lie. But anyway, Trump it's hard to say that he's not guilty because Trump is one of those idiots that just thinks because of his supposed wealth and whatever power he says he has in his own mind. He gets to levels that he shouldn't be at, and then he makes up shit as he goes along, and by the time he moves to something else, he's ruined everything that stood for. And anything that is a saying that everything Trump touches dies. And he's not disproving it. Look at he touched America, and look at where we are now. We're not dead, but we're close to committing suicide because there's a small percentage of the people in this country that believe that the country, if it takes burning the country to the ground to get what they want, that's what they're willing to do. That's what they just demonstrated. I think we all knew that it wasn't going to come to that because there are too many people, even in their own ranks, that depend on American capitalism. They depend on the American economy, whether bad or good, to line their own pockets. Perhaps, even politics as, let's say, passive income, prestigious as it can be, is a sideline to what they really do, and that's play capitalism for all it's worth. That's what they're really out there. Politics is just one avenue for a lot of the people that we have representing us in the United States government. The elected people, the people that we thought we were being smart putting there for one reason or another. It doesn't say much for them, but it says even much less for us. Us as the American public, we don't value our vote. We don't use it wisely because we are all sidetracked into petty bullshit. It doesn't matter whether you're on the left or the right. That's how hyperpartisanship becomes a thing because people get so blindsided to getting the party that they are affiliated with to do the things that they need to do to make it in everyday life, and get sidetracked onto these labeling issues: pro-abortion, anti-abortion, pro-tax, anti-tax. I don't think anybody's really pro-tax, but some people understand that you have to be taxed for some things, especially things like public education, housing, while the other party does, all they do is whatever you think is good for the people, they say, no. We'll do this because it's good for us, but, other than that, we don't give a fuck, so we're not doing it. And usually the things that are good for them are bad for everybody else on purpose, because everything they do is about them, and they want to elevate themselves above the common people, which is basically us. But this thing with Trump about to be indicted, first of all, I think we've been waiting too long for it, but whenever it comes, I'm not going to say whenever it comes, it's got to come, and it's got to come, if not right now, tomorrow, because it's long overdue, and it's the only thing they talk about. Trump is already saying, well, if you indict me, there's going to be bloodshed in the street. Well, you know what? When other people got assassinated and there was bloodshed in the street, the government met those people that were causing the bloodshed in the street, and they dealt with them. I'm not going to say it was fair, but that's the accepted method for, you can peacefully assemble, you can peacefully protest, but once you start smashing shit, no matter who it belongs to, once you start taking shots at people and even cops and first responders, it's on. It doesn't matter who you are. That's just how American law enforcement is supposed to work. Look at January 6th. It was nice until hands got thrown, and then it wasn't nice. So you can take that for what you want, but and look at the trials. Look at the trials. Look at everybody that was really wrapped up in the violence that could be proved associated with the violence, or intent to do violence, or intent to obstruct or overthrow the government, sedition, that type shit. They go into jail for years, and with the age of some of them, it's basically a life sentence. But they're going to come out and have 2 or 3 years left after, and then, no telling how it's going to affect their family after 18, 19, 20 years in jail. And for what? Supporting a madman that can't even support himself. Now, on one thing he says that, he's one of the richest men in the world, and out of the next breath, he's begging for money to help support his political campaign, his lawyers, his legal fees, and he won't say it, but his family. It's a grift. He gets into trouble just so he can cry victimhood, just so he can use victimhood as an excuse for you to give him money, which he's supposed to already have, which according to him, he makes hand over fist anyway, because everything he touches turns to gold. Well, I'm looking for those rivers of gold in the gutters of America, and I'm not seeing that shit, and I don't think you are either. And he had his 4 years, and in his 4 years, if he turns everything to gold, how come he increased the national debt by 25%? Just him and his cronies in 4 years increased the national debt 1/4, 25%. 25 over 100, that's 1/4. That's what Trump did. 1/4 of everything that both sides are bitching about now, the national debt, that one side has a plan and the other side has, all they want to do is cut everybody but themselves and the military. It's nuts. And now that he's about to, come face justice. I'm not going to say the case in New York is not real justice, and if he gets indicted in Georgia, I'm not going to say that's minor either. Because in some ways, that's probably the easiest case out of the most serious cases to prove. Trump is in trouble, and it's going to do one of two things. It's either going to prove that people like Trump and what Trump represents is going to be above the law, or Trump is going to be at least treated by the system like everybody else. At least get him into court, have him go to trial. Now what happens after that, jury of his peers or whatever, that's the next hurdle. But we got to get over this hurdle of, I can't be touched. I'm the Teflon president. You can't do anything to Donald John Trump, I mean. We have to show him the fallacy of his ways. And it's the only thing that's going to protect the integrity or the image, the public relations image of America, because everybody's saying, look, America, we can't believe a damn thing you say, because you say no man is above the law, and you got this fat ass orange idiot over there dictating to you what to do every day when it comes to your legal system, so he can stay out of jail for all the crimes he committed. And it's just that simple. Well, I'm gonna take my sick ass to bed right now. Call it into this one. But as always, man, people, I love y'all. I really love y'all. So, as always, peace out. And God bless from Uncle Ricky at Uncle Ricky's house.